Senator Deakin, Ontario.
Thank you, and thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Senator MacDonald. I start by saying your amendment and your comments on talk and courage are extremely important and compelling and have been part of my big challenge and decision-making on this bill, so thank you. I'm going to speak very briefly this evening. I'm in absolutely no rush to repeat what we have heard over the past year in committee, in our communities, in this chamber, or in the other place in the media. It has been a challenge to decipher what is real, true, and accurate and what is not. As senators, we are not and cannot be the experts of everything. Instead, we need to be informed, we need to listen closely, and ask for clarification from a variety of sources. And I thank the experts and stakeholders we have all heard on this, both in committee, in our offices, with a variety of perspectives. Colleagues, though I don't sit on the committee that looked at C11, I followed the committee work, read and reread transcript, and asked questions where I could right up until this moment. When I stepped off the plane in Ottawa on Monday, I was still unsure how I would vote on this bill. I share this because our job, as I see it, is to know as best we can what this bill will do and the impact it will have on Canadians, as individuals, and as a country. My job is not to cheerlead a bill through to royal assent because the government wishes it to be. It has been clear for me since that first call from the Prime Minister informing me of my impending appointment that if the wishes are for true independence, there will be many days we disagree. My voting record demonstrates this. And from my perspective, the bill, while deeply vetted, still falls short in some areas. C11 will not leave everybody happy. Legislation rarely does. But this bill, for me, is a strong role again of what our role is as senators and what our role is not. The legislation in all of its iterations has been served second thought, third thought, fourth sober thought, and then some. Before, in this message I've just shared with you is proof that we did all what we could do to make it better. We've seen this, whether it's been debate on this bill directly or yesterday evening's debate on the procedure around this bill. Like Senator Husaka said last night, debate is so important in the Senate. More importantly, frankly, than these scripted speeches and statements that we make at times. Last night, in a time of very divergent thinking and emotion, I was very, very proud to be a senator. At midnight, with a full chamber, we could all see the passion, the presence, and the purpose of our collective work and desires. The will to act and the will to speak is based on conviction and courage. I was reminded again how important this is at every moment, at every juncture in our work. Even at that later hour, many of us lingered following adjournment, continuing discussions we had heard or had been part of in the hours earlier to clarify and recognize very different opinions. Even then, I was working still through my decision on this bill. I got up very early this morning, grabbed an umbrella, and walked the streets of Ottawa. Through the solitude and quiet of the rain, I decided that, yes, I will vote in favour of this message before us because of what I have just mentioned. On this, we've had dialogue at every level for a very long time. And while it's not exactly what I completely hope for and hope for it to look like, I can live with it, and I live with it in not a pushover attitude, but in hopes that we monitor and keep our eye on this. I think we should be proud of the work that has been done in this legislation. Through the hard work of many of you in this chamber, it has made this bill better. My final thought, and it's really, really probably my dominating thought and hope, is that this bill must be well monitored for its intended and unintended circumstances. Senators, since I arrived, we have not done well on our commitment to review bills as stipulated in legislation. I do ask about this often in question period, and we have just simply got to do better. So, Senators, I support this message. I support C11, but insist that we keep our eyes and ears open as this bill comes to life. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.